This is Corral again. This time, we have a big network. So this time I'm coming to you on behalf of istudyguides.com. So let's get to it, all right? This time I'm talking about grammar. And I'm talking about Spanish grammar versus English grammar. Let me tell you what our company likes to specialize in, especially me, what we like to specialize in. We like to specialize in those areas of language, whether you're talking about Spanish or English, frankly, any language, okay, in which you're talking about the complicated areas of the language. That part of the language which is not easily translated from one language to the other. So today, you know what I would like to talk about? I'd like to talk about pronouns. Pronouns, in Spanish they're called pronombres, los pronombres. On the surface they appear to be very easy because it seems to be that the same pronouns that are in English exist in Spanish and vice versa. Not exactly. First, let me explain to you what a pronoun is. The word pronoun, just like the word pronombre, that prefix pro, P-R-O, or in Espanol, pro, P-R-O, means substitution. I know pro has a lot of different meanings. You've heard of pro meaning someone who's an expert in something, but I'm not talking about that prefix pro. I'm talking about the prefix pro, which means substitution. And that's what a pronoun is. It's substitute, pro, and then the word noun, pro, and then the word noun. It substitutes the noun. Now, there's many different ways to do that. And there's many different pronouns in English, in Spanish, in French, in Italian, in Portuguese. And one day when I'm lucky enough to learn in Chinese, I'm pretty sure in Chinese. But right now I'm just dealing with Spanish, and right now I'm only dealing with one kind of pronoun. I'm talking about the personal pronoun, but under that I'm talking about the subject pronoun. You know, in our language, it's a subject pronoun. That pronoun which is used when you are substituting the subject of the sentence. Okay, so let's just look at them in Spanish. You have yo, tú, and don't forget with tú, the accent is on the U, because if you don't put the accent on the U, then you have your, the possessive adjective versus the subject pronoun. You have el, don't forget the E contains the accent, otherwise it's the, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, y ustedes. Now, right away we see differences here, right? First of all, there's tú, y usted, y ustedes. In Spanish, you don't have only just one you. There's the you that you normally use when you're talking about friends and neighbors and people en quien tiene confianza, people that you trust, right? People maybe of your same socioeconomic class, someone that you don't see above you, okay? Also someone that you have a relationship with. But that depends, because in certain countries, like for example in Colombia, even though there's a relationship, they still use usted with each other. Even parents and children use usted. But generally speaking, tú is very informal, right? Then you have the usted. Now, usted in general means you singular, but a much more formal relationship, So therefore, if I'm talking to my son or my child, I would use tú, depending on the country. But if I'm talking to someone who, let's say, is my boss, or let's say I'm talking to Presidente Obama, I wouldn't use tú. I don't think I would ever use tú. It would always be usted. Then you have ustedes, which is very different. English, you is supposed to be singular and plural. But because we have a problem with that, a lot of times you'll see people saying you when you only mean one, and then certain parts of the country you hear them say y'all. You have other parts of the country you hear people say you all, and then there's the horrible, especially in the Northeast, yous. All of those are incorrect, because in English, you know, there's only one you, and that could be either singular or plural. Okay, then you have the nosotros. Now, nosotros is we. I don't have it up here, but nosotros can also be nosotras, which means the we, but feminine. Okay. Then you have the L and the ella, which corresponds to the he and the she in English. But the difference is when you go to the plural, you have ellos and ellas, which is different. Because in English, all you have is they. And they could be masculine or feminine. In Spanish, it depends. If it's all women, then it's ellas. If it's men, all men, it's ellos. Or if it's men and women, it's ellos. You can have 1,000,000 women, and then you have a newborn baby. And the newborn baby is a male. He comes into the company of the 1,000,000 women. It's no longer ellas, it's now ellos. So let me just repeat this one more time. You have yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, y ustedes. Now, in the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how it is different in how you use subject pronouns in English versus how you use subject pronouns in Spanish. It's different. And it's important that we recognize that difference, especially as English speakers. Because sometimes we think, oh, it doesn't matter. They understand. Of course they do. People understand. You know, when people speak bad English or English incorrectly, we understand the people. We understand the person that's speaking. But what you want to do in any language, no matter what language you're speaking, you want to speak the language as well as possible. You want to be as flexible as possible in the language. So when we come back, we're going to look at how do you use the subject pronouns in Spanish. And look how different it is how you use it in Spanish versus how you use it in English. So this, once again, this is Coralla, Fickler McLean, and this time, the part of the network that I'm speaking is iStudyGuides.com. So I'll see you in a few. Bye-bye.